responded to that email. But we will see now how is it. Okay, so first of all, we have a kind of a calendar right here, which are in which we shared the results that you are now selected to be part of the Startup Chile program. But hold on, because you are not yet executing the program. Okay, so first of all, we will have this webinar, which is in July 19th. And then we have another webinar in which we will meet all of your peers. Actually, right now is an exclusive instance for only foreign entrepreneurs. And then we will have the webinar What's Next, in which you will get to choose, well, not choose, but well, Vali can explain that more on that later, but you will get to find a landing body and meet
Yeah,
your
your landing
peers.
buddy, it's an alumni. Just for you to know, a quick
Yes.
review. It's an alumni that already went through our program, so they can guide you through this landing process. And you can connect one-on-one, make your own questions, and have a personalized guidance.
Right. Thank you, Vali. And then we will have a webinar with some alumni in which they will get to, in this webinar landing Q&A, you will get to know some of the alumni that actually went through our Startup Chile program and executed here in Chile with all of the nationalities that we have in our program. And then you will get to know and get to see our playbook, in which is kind of a master guide or kind of a Bible that we have here about the Startup Chile program. And then we have the last webinar in which we will look into all of your questions that you may have about the program regarding the playbook, okay? And by that, we will get very, very close to the orientation day or the orientation week, which is on September 4th, okay? So we will have about 2 months for you to get here, okay? So it's very important that you start getting all of your and gathering all of your documents in order to get here, get to work. This is your mission. Remember, it's your responsibility to make it here before September 4th, okay? If you are not here by September 4th, your participation in our program will be kind of acknowledged as desisted or you withdrawn, okay? So, first of all, again, if you are having any questions, you can leave them in the chat, or we will have we will open your microphones then in the questions part. Okay, so first of all, you right now will be kind of gathering all of your documents in order for you to upload them in the Servicio Nacional de Migraciones, which is our migrations kind of portal. And this is very important for you to start doing this process, because I know that we have a pretty slow kind of document to get, which is the apostille. Okay, the apostilla or apostille. I know it's kind of difficult to get, and that's why we have this instance in which you may have some kind of questions, and right now you can leave them in the chat. In this document, the police record certificate, which is apostille, can take up to a month. So if you're taking in consideration that month, for example, if you start right now getting your police record apostilled, you by the August 19th, you will have your for example, your application ready to ready in the migrations system. Okay, then you will get a certificate that it's actually called solicitud solicitud de residencia temporal, or kind of is a certificate that actually gets you, it says that it's you applied for the temporary residency, okay? For this document, we have a deadline, okay, which is 2 weeks before September 4th. So if you have not sent it, this certificate But by about is in August, I think is, let me check. It's on August 21st, sorry. By August 21st, you will have to send me the certificate. If you have not sent this document to landing, we will consider your participation in our program as desisted, okay? So be very mindful of that, because migrations takes about a month or two sometimes to actually approve your temporary residency, okay?
Danny,
But
you will
I
be
have
sending all this information through email too, no? Or the
this
deadline?
is already sent it. Yeah,
Okay.
this is all
Okay.
in the manual actually, and we will look into that in a few minutes. But I have kind of a tip for you, a tip and trick for you. Because I send your applications, I send them to migrations in a batch. Okay, so every Thursday, for example, I send the certificates that kind of are in the landing email. I send as a batch in to migrations. Okay, and migrations takes kind of fewer days and takes less time to approve this temporary residency once there's a lot of cases. Okay, so the more I have, the less they take to approve your temporary residency. So
They must be
be sh-
considered with their peers too.
yes.
Okay.
Yes, so make sure to start your process right now. So the more that I have, the lesser that they will take, okay? In time, okay? So make sure to have that before the 2 weeks prior to September 4th, because if you arrive here as a tourist, you will not be able to execute the program, okay? You have to have your temporary residency, okay? So be very mindful of that.
That's
Okay?
important to consider, Danny. We have entrepreneurs
Yes.
that in the past made it that way, but it's not possible to make it. You cannot execute the program if you come as a tourist to Chile. So this is the important. This is why this process is so important.
Right. So once you get to Chile, we start the program in September 4th, and we have the orientation week, which is about the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th of September. And by that time, we will have the civil registry visit at the co-work, which is in which every event and every kind of instance in the Startup Chile program with the staff and you, the entrepreneurs, kind of take place. Okay, so the civil registry will have a visit here at the co-work, and you will get to present all of the documents for them to give you a Chilean ID. Okay, without a Chilean ID, you cannot get into the formalization process. Okay, this can take up to a month to get your kind of the plastic, okay, your ID. You will get the certificate that you have done the process of getting the ID, but your ID can take up to a month. Okay, so that's very important regarding all of the, for example, accommodation. Sometimes they will ask you for the plastic. Okay, so but with that, we will look into that in the next webinar. But yes, this is kind of the whole process and how much does it take. Okay, so
Danny, can you go
yes.
to the last slide, because we have a question from Nas. Hi
Okay.
Nas, it's great to meet you here. Let us know where you're from in the chat. So they're asking, from the moment we submit the documents to the Servicio Nacional de Migraciones, how long does it take to get the certificate?
Yeah. Well, the certificate is actually should be in your email once you submitted the of the application. Okay, so you'll get to complete the application, and then the same portal of the same Migraciones will send you a PDF, which is a solicitud. It says solicitud de residencia temporal, or solicited of temporary residency, and you will get that in your email as a copy of your application, and that is the document that you will have to let me know that you have and send it to me. Okay, with that I can send the push to migrations for them to give your case priority.
Yeah,
Okay?
and they are now asking if they can enter in Chile with that certificate, but I think that it's a no. It's a part of the process for you to get the temporary
Yes.
residency to get to Chile.
Okay, yes, that's very important, because if you actually have the certificate, it does not mean that you have your temporary residency approved, okay? Migrations will now kind of get your application, and then they will take the time for you to be for kind of look into all of your background and what you uploaded, and then they will send you kind of a notification with your stamped temporary residency, which actually says estampado electrónico, which is electronic stamp, okay? And with that, you can access and kind of get to Chile without any kind of trouble, okay? And as temporary residencies, and not as a tourist, okay? You will have to enter the country with the temporary residency and not as a tourist, okay? So that's very important, because that's another matter. If you enter the country as a tourist, and here in Chile, you get the temporary stamp, for example, the stamp, you will have to then go back to another country and enter again to Chile. So that's why it actually takes more time. So that's why we are kind of, we have the time for you to start getting your apostille, getting your documents, gathering all your documents, and then send it to me, and then I will send it to migrations and get your temporary residency stamped by before the 4th of September, okay? So that's why we are here, okay? That's why you can start asking all
And
the questions.
Rebecca is also asking if they are going to be on time, because she's now renewing her passport, and if she asks if she's going to be on time. So that's why we're doing this now, because we are on time or doing all of this. So it's important for you to stay tuned to this process and don't get sleep on it, and start doing all the documentation and all the things that you need to get together to come to Chile before September the 4th.
Right.
Great.
And if you're right now renovating your passport, you can now start, for example, gathering all of the other documents, in which we will look into that right now. Actually, we'll look into the manual. So let me know if you can, if you see my screen. Yeah,
we can see it.
you're seeing the kind of the manual, right? The visa process and all that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Danny,
perfect.
before we continue,
mhm.
this is a huge question that we have here from Guido.
Mhm.
Guido, where are you from? Let us know. I'm curious. So who needs to do this? Only the team leader, or if more than one co-founder will attend to the program? So the program. Okay, great. He is from Argentina.
Go ahead.
No, that the program is only the team leader is requested to be in person in Chile, but we know that co-founders that they submitted in their application form can get the visa too. So let us know more about that. That requirement.
Yes, we will actually look into that by the end of this webinar. But regarding that question, yes, it's mandatory that you as a team leader do this process, because otherwise you will not be able to formalize with us. You will not be able to get a bank account. You will not be able to get a Chilean ID. Okay, that's very important. And what's also important is that this process is only for the people in the application form, as Vali said. Okay, it's only for the people that are in the application process, okay? If you, for example, have co-founders but were not declared in the application form, they will not be able to get this type of visa, okay? And we won't be able to kind of sponsorship them, okay? But we have kind of another situation, which are the significant others, in which you can totally kind of do this process for them, and they actually kind of go with the dependent quality as the visa. It's kind of depending of the team leader, but you will have to have a kind of formal relationship or a formal kind of legal document that kind of gets I get to know, and migrations get to know that you are legally binded with this person, okay? So for example, if you're married and have the document of your marriage, you can kind of send it to me and we can extend the letter to that person, because for this process you will need the invitation letter, okay? So we will look into that in the manual, okay?
Yeah.
So,
and yeah, we already have some questions, but I know that you're
yes.
going to answer them through the manual. So if after we finish with the manual, please let us know if they're still.
Great. So first of all, this is what I said to you before. You will not be able to kind of get a bank account, get a route, and all of that if you travel as a tourist. So that's why we are here. You must complete the online application in the Immigration National Service of Chile. I won't be opening that window because it actually crashes my computer, but you can do that in your home. And actually, this page only kind of opens up in foreign countries. It does not open the same way here in Chile, okay? You will have to do that by yourself, okay? So first of all, which are the documents that you will need? And this is very important because you will need a passport with 18 months before the expiration date, okay? That document has to have this amount of months. Otherwise, migrations can deny you the application, okay? So be very mindful of that. And that's why we ask you that in the confirmation form, okay? Then you will need the SAP invitation letter, which was sent it to you via admission at Startup Chile. Okay, if you don't know where that document is or anything, if you did not get that letter, please let us know so we can resend it to you. And if you take into that invitation letter, it will be directed to you and the team members that actually were in the application, okay? So if you go a little bit below of that letter, it will say the names of your team members, okay? And if you have, as I said before, a significant other that you will need to extend that letter to, please let me know, and we will kind of, if you have the documents that prove your relation, we can extend that letter, okay? With the then you will have this document with the project description, which is pretty easy actually to complete. You, as you're the leader of your startup, should know better than anyone else what does your startup do. So this is kind of your project name, industry, headquarters, the public description. We have that in our database, but you will have to enter this again because this is for migrations. This is not for Startup Chile. And that's kind of it. Really, you should kind of get in, kind of not in that detail about your process. And then, as I said before, I know this is kind of the hard part, which is the apostille police record certificate, okay? So if we look into here, we have the Certificado de Antecedentes Penales Apostillado, which is kind of what is an apostille. It's actually kind of a stamp that allows your document to have kind of a universal validity. And what is universal? Which is some countries do not have the apostille, but it's kind of when a document has a legal kind of the same legal criteria for the country that you may need it. Okay, so this is very important because not every institution does the apostille. Okay, and you can check here which authorities in your country can make an apostille. Okay, so if you are, for example, any of these countries, you can just click into here and they will give you the address on which you can go and get your apostille. Okay, that's very, very important because not every authority and not every for example, legal institution can make an apostille. Okay, so that's very, very important. Make sure to click on that. And if you have any questions further regarding the apostille, you can just leave them in a chat, or we can just check on that in the Q&A part. Okay, so yes, that's the first part. Okay, then you go to the platform and complete this. We have here the step-by-step in the web. Okay, I kind of I want to say kind of a disclaimer. Migrations kind of most of the time, if not every 6 months or so, kind of changes the names of the process. Okay, so sometimes it says emprendedor, it gets entrepreneurs. Sometimes it's a temporary residency. Sometimes it's temporary residence. Sometimes it's kind of varies, but it's the same step by step. Okay, so be very mindful of that, because I know it kind of changes the name a little bit. If you have any questions regarding that, you can ask at landing@Startup Chile, and I can get to you and I can check on that, because as I said before, in Chile, we don't have this platform because it's only for foreign countries. Okay, I cannot access this platform in here in Chile. Okay, so you have to go click and go to temporary residency for foreigners outside of Chile. Okay, you will have to do this process in your home country. Okay, and it's very, very important that all of this it's done in your kind of definite and your permanent where you have your permanent residency. Okay, because some of you maybe are in another residing in another country and you don't have the full, for example, you have a temporary residency in another country. Okay, for example, you were born in Brazil, then you went to Argentina and you are in Argentina, for example, in 2 years. Okay, and you have the temporary residency in Argentina for 2 years, and then you want to come to Chile. You will have to do this not with the Argentinian paperwork. Okay, you will have to do this with your Brazilian paperwork. Okay, so that's very, very important. If any of you are not residing in your for example, in your definite residency kind of quality. Okay.
Then we have a question here of Kiara, that she got her virtual apostille in some countries by. So I'll read it as an entire question. Now there is also a way to obtain a virtual apostille in some countries by official institution. I used it for another visa process. Does it work for Chile?
Yes, you will have to check into the link that is in the manual if that authority is actually okay. Yes, you will be able to get that apostille. Here in Chile, actually, we can have an e-apostille. Okay, so yes, we have the apostille that actually is online, but you will have to check into that If your country does the apostille virtually, you will be able to do this online. Yes.
Okay, and we have another question from Theophilus from Ghana. So what do you do if your country is not part of the countries listed in the apostille police record?
Okay, you will have to let me know via mail, and we can look into that regarding with migrations specifically. Okay.
Okay,
So please,
yeah.
yes, with that you can ask me via email, and we will look into that. Okay. So this is very important because this step is very important for you because you are here as a self-employed person. Okay, you will not have a contract with us. Well, you will have, but not as an employee. Okay, so you will be kind of self-employee, which is an entrepreneur actually here, and then you kind of get to submit every document that we were kind of telling you. Okay, you will have to submit your passport, you will have to submit the project, you will have to submit the invitation letter and all of that. Okay, and then you are good to go. You can look into all of this, and then you will have to make a payment. Okay, this is very important, and I want to kind of tell you about this because sometimes there's a little bit of issues with the platform, and the most common way of getting this payment good to go is via PayPal. Okay, I have heard that this is the less kind of troublemaker kind of payment. Okay, with PayPal you can just go ahead and click and make the payment. And another thing is that they will ask you for what institution will you be participating, or you will be kind of contracted by, and you'll have to you have this information here, which is Corfo. Okay, you will not have to apply as your startup. Okay, you will not have to put your startup information. You will have to put the Corfo information. Okay, so migrations know that you are sponsored by us. Okay, then you get all of this, and you will get the certificate. With that, you can let me know, and you will have a number and a certificate, and you will have to send it to me. Okay, and with that, you are kind of almost good to go. Okay, with that, I will send that in a batch to migrations, and then they will, in a couple weeks, you will have a response for them. Okay, if the response it's, for example, more need of a background, the apostille is not right, the document is not apostille, and everything, and that kind of issues, you will have to let me know, because sometimes migrations kind of does not understand that you are sponsorship by us, because sometimes you will not upload the documents correctly, or kind of issues like that. You will have to let me know in order for me to kind of get in contact with them and let and see if we can just kind of clear the way. Okay, so that's actually kind of it. If you have a team member that's in the application process, they will have to do this on the same way. Okay, they will have to apply the same way that you are. They will have to gather the same documents, and they will have to present the same documents and all of that. If you have a significant other, you will have to add them in this process as a dependent. Okay, and they will ask you, for example, I think there's 3 documents that they ask you, which is kind of where will you get the money for them to kind of live here in Chile, and how are you planning to maintain them, and all of that. In those kind of when they are asking for that document, you will have to enter the invitation letter. Okay, you will have to submit the invitation letter, and with that, you are good to go. Okay, That's for the significant others. And that's kind of the manual, okay? We will go back to the presentation. And please, if you're having any questions, leave them in the chat. If not, we'll have the Q&A. Okay, as I said before, this process is only for people declared in the application and for the significant others, mind you, legal significant others, okay? So, yes,
Yeah,
I don't
I
know if
want to
there's any
take the word,
questions.
Danny,
Yes,
because we have a question here, and
yes.
I was
If
waiting
not,
for this slide to
yeah,
continue. So we
if
have Julieta here. Ah, sorry.
yes.
You want to
Okay.
say something?
If not, they can kind of maybe raise a hand and we can unmute
Oh
you.
yeah, that's great because
Yes.
we're already tired of talking that much. So I have Julieta here in the chat, and she's asking. She's from Argentina, and she asks, "Is the certificate the proof of submission for the temporary residence application?"
Sorry, I did not get that
So is
question.
the certificate the proof of submission for the temporary
Yes.
residence application? Okay.
Yes, the certificate is, it only proves that you made the application. Is that not proof that you have a visa, okay? The visa is actually the estampado electrónico or the electronic stamp, okay?
Okay, great.
Mhm.
No worries, Julieta, we are here for you. So we also have Deepu, and he's asking, I have been granted a PCC for work employment in Chile. I am currently
Okay.
applying for a temporary resident visa and would like to confirm if this PCC will be acceptable for that purpose, or if I need to obtain a new one specifically for the residence visa. I have already started the process of having this PCC apostille.
Yes, I actually checked on that document. It looks good because it says that it's actually for the visa purposes and the work employment, which is the one that you will have to be doing here. The subcategory in the immigration sites is actually kind of people that will be working here in Chile, okay? This temporary residency lets you work here, lets you stay here, lets you live here, make your money here. So that's why we grant you with this and sponsor you with this kind of visa, okay? Yes, and it's very important that it's not only the police background check or certificate that you will need to submit, it has to be apostilled. Otherwise, they will not kind of approve that temporary visa.
Okay,
Yes.
thanks, Danny. And we have more questions here in the chat. I think that they are very shy by the moment, but remember, guys, that you can raise your hands in the Zoom and we can unmute your microphone. So Nas is asking, should we wait to buy our flight tickets to Chile until we have the temporary residency approval? That's a very good question.
That's a really good question.
Or do we buy it anyway and then exit the country and re-enter and receive it? That's a main alert that we're facing.
Yes.
So Danny, please express yourself.
Yes, that's a really, really good question. I love that kind of questions because I know you get into a kind of budget issue when you kind of buy the ticket very close to the date. But I will say that let me rephrase it in my mind. You will if you have every document good to go and start your apostille and start, for example, if you already submit everything in the application to migrations and send it to me, you can start looking for your flight tickets. If you have not done this, I will say just wait, okay? So if you don't have your apostille, if you don't have your passport, if you don't have kind of the documents that are needed to start this process, maybe kind of start delaying your purchase. The purchase, right?
Okay.
But
Danny, maybe we could recommend that they can ask you via landing, the
Yes.
email landing at startupchile.org when you're planning to buy, so then you can check your process or your status in the process, and she can recommend you if to buy
Yes.
it or not. And also,
Yes.
I think that they can present the ticket flight as an expenses when they get when they
Yes.
started the program, if they gather all the documents and all the purchase approval needed.
Yes, I think it depends kind of the situation that you're into. But yeah, I will start first kind of getting into the documents and then kind of start thinking about the plane ticket, okay? Because I don't know if you don't have your temporary residency, it will be as we said before. If I don't have the certificate by the 21st of August, we'll have to consider your participation as desisted for a program. Okay, so be
Yeah.
very mindful of that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Danny. I think that we don't have more questions at the moment, so this is your chance all to make the last questions. And if we are not having, I just want to remind you that in a few more minutes, in 1 hour and a quarter, we will be sharing in our social media the selected ones. So I want to share the media kit in this chat. It's also in your emails, remember, but remember to share it in your social media on how you and on that you were selected to be part of our program. So please wait until 1 o'clock Chile time. That's in 1 and a quarter hour more. And we have a last more question. Can we go home for Christmas? Is the visa multi-entry? That's a special thing. You can do business trips. You can talk with your business, and also, of course, that we consider that. But it's important to execute the program in Chile. We understand that you can travel home sometimes, but the importance is to be in Chile the whole time, and it's not strict like every day. We consider that your business, you're traveling for business and also for family things, and we are considered with that.
Yes, and if you want to take your family or get your family here, please let me know so I can extend the invitation letter to them. Okay, it's very, very important. I know it's very
So they
important
can
for
have
you.
Christmas here in
Yes,
Chile. Yeah,
maybe it's
yeah,
not snowy, but it's actually
yeah.
very, very hot in here. But yeah,
And
yes,
Marlene is asking, yeah, okay, we're getting in another field about there you're getting tricky, guys, but you're not going to make it because we're going to have more information in the next webinar on July, yeah, July the 23rd, this Tuesday. So please connect to the webinar to get more information. We will reveal the new dates at that time, and all details, and all the details of the entire program will be revealed with your playbook. Okay, so that's all the information that I'm going to give you today. And yeah, see you on Tuesday. I think it was a pleasure to meet you. Hope all this process helped you a lot, and please ask us through admissions and landing all the questions that you're having about your visa process. You know the importance that it has to get to here, and we really want to get to know you on September the 4th. So get ready, guys, and see you the next time. Bye bye.